little bit of introduction of mine so that we become familiar. I studied in Sainik School, Valpara, and I passed out from there in 1982. Then joined NDA, National Defense Academy, in 83. Sorry, 82. 82 from 82 till 84, I was in NDA only. And after 1 year of IIT, that is in 84. 84, I was in Indian Military Academy, that is at Delhi, right? And thereafter, we got commission. And we got commission at the age of 19 and a half. Okay, those days, because you can join immediately after class 11. So we didn't pass class 12. We just after 11 only we joined, NDA. And I got commission in 195 Field Regiment. There is a Mountain Artillery Regiment. And then thereafter, of course, the run of this one became captain, major, lieutenant, and all those. And finally, I retired last year. My son is also in army. He is a major in army. He is married, well settled now, and he is in Jalandhar, posted in Jalandhar. And my daughter, she had done again MBA from Syllabus from Pune, and now she is working for Infosys in Hyderabad. Last year in October, she got married. So this is my family. My wife, she is with me only. She's got a boutique. She is into designing, basically, Assamese Meghla chadars and saris and all, and also fusion art. There is, Madhubani, printing on Assamese Meghla chadar, Kantha doing on Meghla chadar and things like that. So she is into that, fashion designing and all those ladies, fancy items.
She did embroidery in vegetables, I guess.
Pardon?
She did embroidery in vegetables, I guess, and you were there.
Midnova?
Yeah, she did embroidery in vegetables.
Badminton? No. Badminton, yeah, maybe. We just shifted last year only, so I don't think you have ever done that.
No, there was a wife. There was an aunt. She's also
Okay, maybe. Well, also. Badminton, I'm right.
Yeah.
Badminton, how she looks like? She's very thin or something?
Medium.
Medium. Maybe. And we are originally from Dibrugarh. Okay. So this is my background. So little bit, only one sentence of yours. आप क्या कर रहे हो कि who are you? बोलेगा. You sit down and tell me. But you should be speaking loud because somehow I am not able to hear. Because of AC, you are Burma. And you are in which class now? Class or college? Which one? That's class 12 exam. What about you? Libo from where? From Manipur. And you are doing what? Finish your? Huh? Finished your graduation? Class 12. Okay, you finished your class 12. So you must have all taken admission somewhere, or is a gap year for you? Is a gap year so that you can prepare for exams. What about you? You met? No. Asun? Ali. Ali. Okay. Class 12 complete. Very nice. And you? 12. So basically 12 pass.
12 pass.
12 pass. You are 12 pass. Oh, you have done it. 12 pass. What is the name? Lakshmi? Kashmir. And what will you? Button. Sorry, the names are not very familiar, that's why maybe, I'm still, and I'm from Manipur. And you're turning over? You finished graduation. From where? From Gujarat. So you are what? Now you are looking serious. Aircraft. Okay, you are looking aircraft. Into So that means you have already finished your what called CAPF written exam, right? So you could go for SSB interview now. Okay. And SSB interview, so they will giving teaching volume also for SSB. Some psychologists. So you see, I take it that you can hear me this is what, or you see you perform for the one to five. Because I am not comfortable with the idea. So firstly, let's talk about NDA. Now, for NDA exams, so you must have already gone through the syllabus. So how many, what the papers are there in NDA? Two papers. One is general ability test. So GAT, get. So in that, this kind of test becomes only one of the subjects. Okay. So and how much is the maths mark? 600. 600. And this GAT is how much?
Math is 300, that is I guess 600.
300 and 600. Yeah, 300 and 600. So kind of areas of the general knowledge. So that comes to about what is the percentage of questions or what is the percentage of marks that we expect for kind of areas? Some portion. There has to be some portion that must be given somewhere. 20% will be kind of areas out of all these GAT, or 10% or something like that. There must be some realistic, no? No. You haven't got any. Let me also find out. I'm sure it is there. So I thought you must be knowing things I didn't. So anyway, kind of awareness, whatever you say, kind of awareness is one of the most important subjects. As you grow up in life, kind of awareness is the only one that will see you through. Okay, you go into political arena, you go into business arena, whatever. So kind of awareness is very, very important. Now, what is GK and kind of awareness? GK is one that you have already gone through, which is the highest mountain in India. How many states are there in India? All is GK. And kind of awareness is the events that are happening now, or have some ramification or some sort of what called impact on society or in the lives. So kind of awareness is that. So kind of awareness is basically is a little bit of elaborate things where you should know the background, how it had happened, and what is happening now, and what will happen after some time. Whereas GK basically is in statistics. You just remember things and you don't have to dwell on it. But whereas kind of awareness is that you must know about past, present, and also the future. Now the main problem with us is that we almost everyone devote our time in other subjects, mathematics, physics, chemistry, in whatever subjects, but very little on general knowledge and kind of awareness. Very little. So the best thing, because you don't have time, that's the only thing. So the best thing is that whenever you are preparing for such an exam, like NDA and IMA and things like that, so build your knowledge. And once you build your knowledge, okay, now it is not information. Information is something that you get from the book, how many mountains are there in India or something like that. But to make it, what your knowledge, you have to go into it. Okay, so kind of awareness is one. So you have to make a knowledge base for yourself. And everywhere, wherever you go, you go for any allied subjects or anywhere, there will be interview. And if the interview, they will ask you something of this nature, what is happening all around. And if you fail there, so nothing can really help you. So kind of awareness is very important. And it's not only for exams, but per se, as a citizen, as a young man, you must know what is happening in the country or what is happening all around. And the best way to do it, best way. Nowadays I know people don't read newspaper because very less people subscribe to newspaper. But there's no other way. No other way to because in WhatsApp or in mobile, so there's so many things will be there. So if you don't get it really doesn't capture your brain. But if you see the newspaper and you just read the first page only, There are 3 or 4 topics in a normal newspaper. There are 3 or 4 topics only. There won't be more, or there will be only 1 or 2. That's all. Nothing else is there. So if you should know the headlines at least, if you know the headlines, then you suddenly become aware of the whole thing. I mean, like I have given you an example. Now if you see the net, unless you subscribe to a newspaper, so they just keep telling you so many things. But in the newspaper, the headlines will be yes, what? The Modi ji visited Assam yesterday. Yesterday or day before yesterday? Day before yesterday. Right? So then suddenly he has visited Assam day before yesterday. So that means what? Election is nearby. Now when is the election? I mean, how the elections will be conducted in Assam? How many phases? Okay, since you are talking about Assam, because since you are here. Okay, it can similarly for the whole India also. So in Assam again, people will ask you, how many phases are there? Okay, so there are again 3 phases. Now you know the dates, which of dates are there. So your brain is not tickling. So you know it. Now you know the paper is there. Modi ji has come. Modi has come for what election? He has come for Lok Sabha election or he has come for state election? Lok Sabha election. Of course, Lok Sabha election. And what is going to be held? Then you know. Abhi dates are passed. So over the time, you have to build your knowledge. It is not even in one day. 2 days you can just mug up few pages. But this knowledge, building up knowledge is done for all the years, all the time, till the time finally you retire. Retire means retire from the world, not only retire from your service. Okay. So my sincere advice to all of you, wherever you are there, if there is a newspaper, you can get a newspaper, and just read the headlines. Read the headlines and you will get enough material. And your brain will start tickling. Right? Okay, now what is happening today? Today, in the world, let's say, in the world, what is happening today? One of the most important events as per you. Tell me. In the world. I'm not talking about India. What is happening on? What is the main problem coming up in India, in the world? Anything? What do I feel? What is the main problem? Yes, global warming is okay. Globally, what every day affair. It's going on. But what's the current event? What's the current event going on? UK-Russian war. But it also become old now. It's almost for 2 years now.
Conditions of Dubai.
Sorry.
Conditions of Dubai.
Conditions of the hailstorm yesterday. Yes, that is very nice. That is very floods yesterday. Okay. Anything else you know? Israel Palestinian, so that is also old because it started from 7th of October onwards, so it is also become old. Okay. But it's become old. But today or tomorrow, कुछ है, ऐसा कुछ है. But you are correct. These are most of you are on the right lines. Okay. Now, when you talk about wars, basically wars is one thing that impacts everyone. So we have Russia, Ukraine war. Then we had Israel and Gaza, basically Palestinian war. So that started from October 7. And just 2-3 days back, what happened was that Iran and Israel also, Iran had done? Iran and attack missiles and all drones to Iran. Iran had done to Israel. Okay, now what do we expect now? Next, Israel will also try something. So that is one of the important, events coming up. So that's how your brain should. You read newspaper, you will come to know what is happening there, and you become aware. Okay. Any questions might come from today's war. Iran, Israel हो गया, Israel Palestinian हो गया, Gaza strips के बारे में आ सकता है, Sudan के बारे में आ सकता है. So many things happen. Then they might ask you what happened, just recently in Taiwan. Taiwan में क्या हुआ? It is happening soon. Taiwan में क्या हुआ? There was some earthquake or something. और क्या था? Earthquake was there. And anything else? Then let's talk about India. Now India में क्या हुआ? Basically now it is on election time. So major event is election. Election, so like in Assam, what happens? 19th April. Today is 18th. So 19th. Tomorrow is the first Lok Sabha election. So we have 5, Upper Assam constituencies, 5 of them. So they'll go for polls, 19 more. Then Guwahati becomes 7. So in Assam there is 1. And what else is there in India? One is election, that is fine.
Kejriwal's arrest.
Huh?
Kejriwal's arrest. Kejriwal.
Kejriwal was arrested, yeah, he was arrested one, but High Court didn't give him any relief, right? Kejriwal is also a major event, okay, because the Chief Minister, serving, Chief Minister of a, state, is jailed. So it's good or bad, that is not for us to, debate on. But we should know the facts, we must know. They might ask you, why was he, arrested? What was his problem? I mean, he did nothing. What is his problem? So there may be, that event. And what else is there?
Naxals were killed in Bastar, I think.
मुझे ना एकदम वो ना बिल्कुल वो सुनेंगे मन कर दो देखते हैं बट we will poll hot थोड़ा देखते हैं आपका वीडियो इसका so
Large number of Naxals were killed, I think yesterday or before.
Naxals were killed, lot of almost 200 plus were killed in Bastar. It's a very important event because generally Naxals and all they can come out there, but otherwise to kill so many of them together is very difficult. But Naxals have killed CRPF all en masse, about 80, 90 together 3-4 years ago. So that is very important. So anyway, so what I am saying is you must be aware of what is happening, not only around you but also in India and also in the world, right? Okay. So if you try to get access to a newspaper, and if you don't read, you don't have time to find, but at least if you know the headings, at least you can write down the headings. And earlier used to do paper cutting. So those days, because only paper cutting used to be our main thing. So we used to do paper cutting and then used to keep it safely and so now you don't have time, so we just know the headings. And today I have been told to take 2-3 subjects, 5 of them. And first is on the slide only. That is freedom on the net 2023 report. So basically freedom on the net 2023, right? So that means what? Freedom on the net, it can be 2021 also. There must have been freedom at net 2010. So but we are talking about what? 23 on 2023. Now this 2023, now it pertains to which period? The questions might come, in multiple choice, MCQ. So this period, the period of this particular report is from which date to which date? Okay, so it is from June of 2022 till May of 2023. Okay, almost you can say about 9 to 10 months back, right? Got the point. So 2023 doesn't mean that from January to December. So first you must know, they might ask you a question. So it is from June of 22 to May of 23. Now, who does this report? Who makes this report? Freedom of Net. Who makes this report? Now there is a Freedom House. There is a society called Freedom House. So they are based in Washington DC. Washington DC. Capital of USA is what? So it is based in Washington DC, and they have been making this report on freedom of the net or freedom on the net. Okay, and this report, the 23 report, which is the latest report, and there is a 13th. It is 13. So it must have started from what? 2010. 2010 being first, and then every year they do it. Now, is it important? Let's see, why they are doing all this. And this is a non-profit organization, non-profit based organization. So they don't have really get any money or anything as per them. Now, but is it important to have this particular report? Why should you know what is happening in USA, what is happening in Palestine, or happening somewhere in India? Why should you know? इनका इंटरनेट चल रहा है, नहीं चल रहा है, इंटरनेट गवर्नमेंट ने बंद करके रखा हुआ है, नहीं करके रखा हुआ है, how we are interested? How we are interested? No, we are interested because as human rights, we are concerned about human rights because we are global citizens now. Human rights is we must look into human rights. Secondly, the business culture, okay, and how people are progressing there, how people are going on prosperity in that particular country. So these things, so many things are there. From this particular report, we can make. Okay, you want to go and study, let us say in Canada. So unless you know okay, what is the freedom there, you will be able to use your internet freely. Okay, even you can judge कि मुझे कनाडा में जाना है कि मुझे जाके वहाँ पे और maybe in Singapore or something. Okay, so you might make a decision out of it. So similarly, the business people and everyone has got this particular, uses this particular report to base their various various aspects of their business or political education, whatever is there. So they all use this particular report to do any kind of work or take any incentive in those areas. Now, what happens is that in this particular report, it basically takes into account only about 70 countries, not all the countries, 70 countries. Some of the countries don't have any internet. So it takes about, it studies only about 70 countries, and out of 70 countries, this comprises the 88% of total internet users in the world. Okay. These 70 countries, they form the 88% of the internet users in the world. So balance only 12% is there. Okay, 18% here, 20% of internet users are there, which are very, very small countries. So that's how it is very important. And what they have found is that every year things are not going on well. There have been always restriction on the freedom of the net. They have been by countries slowly or sometimes at one time. Like what happens, I'll tell you, Manipur. Those who have come from Manipur. The thing started somewhere in May. The first thing was, casualty was what? Let me stop the internet. Okay, nobody can send any WhatsApp message, nobody can pass it in that. So the government what has done, they stop the thing. Similarly, in JK something goes wrong, it will again will stop the internet. Now in Guwahati also we had TAS edition in 2020 or something, 2018 started. So here also Assam also they stop the internet. So it is got both thing. Internet is fine. So the rumors and all will not be circulated fast. That's very good. But at the same time, freedom of express, I want to express my freedom, why this is being done. So I can't express it. So it is good for the government. If you look through the perspective of the government, it's good because rumors have been curtailed. No more rumors. Okay, no misinformation, no misleading information. But as an internet user, as individual, my freedom is curtailed because now I can't say anything. Okay, why government has done that? Why I'm talking about Manipur. Let's say I can't say Maggie, I can't say cookies or things like that. So it is good and bad, both. But only thing is that it should not be repression and liberty. It should not be repressive measure. It should not be repressive measure. It can be curtailed. It can promote liberty. In a sense that you can cut out some rumors. You can cut out some rumors, but at the same time, the normal information and what is required for the event. So that should not be. But if you just say blanket ban, then nothing can what will go on, right? So over the countries, over the time, countries have been having all these curtailment on net. Now the government idea have a lot of problems in what called really resolving this to stop that freedom or on. Because earlier physically you have to take out a website and then stop that particular website your customer to come in. So those days were quite difficult. It's very difficult to maintain. But now what has happened is that artificial intelligence is right. So with artificial intelligence, what government was having so much time to do it, now it is automatic. Okay, now everything has become so automatic. Now with AI, artificial intelligence, it's very easy. Very easy to what call stop this one. And AI can tell you who is the person who has done this. So physically the police and all can come in and arrest you. Okay. So AI become very active. Very active. Right. So that's how over the years governments have been using AI to cut the freedom on them. And out of the 70 countries, and the worst are what? Iran and Myanmar. Iran and Myanmar. Now, why Iran? What must have been there? Because why Iran has become so much negative on internet? Why they don't allow freedom on net? Why? What happened was in Iran? Why there's so much of problem in Iran? Iran, now of course, Iran and Israel war is different. But why there's so much problem in Iran? Because you must have already heard it, girls must be knowing there's a hijab incident. One girl, she refused to put on hijab. So there's a lot of problems coming up in that. So I'm not going to detail. So because of hijab movement, the whole government, whole population was against the government. Okay, so they have banned internet for almost 6-7 months. They punished a lot of people. So that is one. Secondly, what is happening in Myanmar? Myanmar is, what is the original name of Myanmar? Burma. So what is happening in Myanmar now? Because Myanmar can't afford to cannot have any freedom on net because Iran is ruled by military government, right? Military junta bolte usko. It is by military people. And then last almost about 1 or 2 years they have been all fighting. All the insurgents are fighting with the government. Okay, and some of the places the insurgents become much more stronger, much more stronger than the government itself. So many places around Myanmar which have been captured by the all insurgents. So anyway, I'm just giving a background. So Iran, Myanmar is one of the two of those, and also China for last about 10 years they have been constantly wars. But China also they don't let net to be used as freely because the communist government and they don't allow any dissension or any dissent amongst the population group against it. And India has been somewhere in the middle. Okay, out of 50, we had about now as of today 2023 report we have 50. Okay, so what happens in the Indian market? So 0 is the best, is all 100% freedom. 1 is what for? Cross all for. तो ऐसा करके है 1 to 3 करके उसका grading से. So India is at 50. Out of 70 countries, India is 50. Means somewhere you can say last say 20 हो. Last say 20, नीचे से 20 हो. Bring on that. And India for last about 5-6 years, they've been using this AI so much that slowly the freedom on the net has been cut. Okay, now you just tweet once. You go to Twitter or you go to internet. You read something about against the government or against some this one. They automatically the next day क्या हो उसी time पे आपका okay. So AI become now very intelligent now. I mean they know exactly who is doing where and they can find out the IP address, they can find out the location, they can give you all the details. So AI has helped the government to cut all this dissent and also give misinformation or misleading information or card misleading information, that also they do it, right? And now we have this election 2024, this is still going on. So that AI has also been used there. Okay, so it is not so free. Okay, if you have particular ideology, if you have some particular ideology which you are not against the not along with the government, so if you do that, so the government will they exactly know what we are doing, and they can find out what is the trend. कि Assam में इस area में how many people what will vote for BJP, how many people will vote for Congress or other parties. So they exactly know because of the AI. The way you start messaging your friends. Okay, for you young children you won't message anything about political, but in older people like they will be saying that is to vote BJP to they do something like that. So the AI has become quite enough the government to be very impressive about the freedom on the net, right? Vijay? So in 2018 we are 57 in the ranking. In India was 57 in ranking 2018, and over the year every year this is coming up, and now we are at 50. So out of 70 countries, हम नीचे से 20. Understood? And who has got what was the maximum freedom? You do whatever you want on the net. That is Iceland. Now, basically, what all legal tools are there to carve all these freedom on net? What are the legal tools? What are the legal bodies are there? Which we must know. Okay, then we have got central criminal procedure code. Now this criminal procedure code, criminal CPC, must be hard CPC. You do some offense, so you are put under CPC, criminal procedure code. Now this allows you to seize a particular, seize the documents whatever you have from an individual. So this is one. Then we got for the films, the movies and everything. So we got Central Bureau of Film Certification, that is also known as CAPF. So these are legal tools. Okay. Then Press Council of India. Now Press Council of India, it is not a government organization. It is a all the bodies of all these newspaper, basically newspaper guild, you can say. So they have got this Press Council of India, in which they also monitor whatever news are going around. So they do monitor. And if something they find wrong, if some journalist is doing some bad report or something, some malicious report or whatever, so then they do also the censorship, right? Then we have got there is something called Cable Television Network Act, which regulates all the contents of the TV or of the cable. And now what is the most important for all of us to know, it is in social media and IT rules. So we got social media platform, whatever you express on the net, it comes under IT Act and IT rules. Okay, so now it is a recent one, IT rules are in last year only this has come. So now this grant substantial freedom or substantial leverage to the government, whatever they want to curb on the net, they can do it. Understood? And when you say censorship, you know what is censorship commonly used. So otherwise, by our definition is what? Control or suppression of ideas. Suppression of ideas, information or forms of expression by government organizations. Okay? So this was censorship. Understood? So this is freedom on net, report of 2023. So next report will come by 2024. Right? And that will cover from which period to which period? Again June 23 to next day May 20. Right? So they will come from November, July, August. Right? Anyone, any questions on the question this one? So they might ask you one question, how AI, AI is utilized by the government. how AI is replaced not by the government, replaced by what we call the authorities to curb freedom on net. So what will we do it? What will we do? How AI is used? They can do blackout. They can selectively cut in some portion of your message or your write-up or your documents. Okay. They can give you some misleading information. AI can do some misleading information. They can say, okay, नहीं, अभी ना बॉडी में अभी ना बाढ़ नहीं होगा. बॉडी में अभी मेरे से कोई बम ब्लास्ट होने वाला है. यहाँ पे. ये तो misleading information हो गया नहीं है. और मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन भी हो जाएगा. कहीं बम ब्लास्ट हुआ है लेकिन वो बोलेगा कि नहीं यहाँ पे बम ब्लास्ट नहीं हुआ. यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा एक पटाखा टूटा है. हो सकता है. So misleading misinformation and what else? What else? So many things artificial intelligence can do. Or mostly what happens most of the mobiles and most of the sets like TV sets and what we call other sets. You go on what voice control, right? You do voice control. Okay, earlier what when you say okay you want to search, so you search, then the net comes, so many things comes. But now I just say play FM something 43, so automatically goes on. So what happens because of all these particular devices where what the voice recognition is there, voice command is there, so they become very automatic. They quickly know who is there and what he wants. Okay, so these are some another way of artificial intelligence. Most of the voice control are basically nothing but AI only. So this question might come. Otherwise, when did it start? It started in 2010. Where it is there? Washington DC. Or how many countries are taken into consideration? 70 of them. Okay, that's all. Now the benefits of censorship. I mean, these are things I have told you, negative things. Now the benefits here for a government, let us say, the government also, the authorities, you say, finds it very difficult to control technically. So this AI really helps it. Now, what will be the benefits of this censorship? Next slide, okay. What will be the next slide? You told me that.
Let's go. In right corner is a screen.
This side?
No. In the screen. Screen is the right corner.
Right corner? Yeah.
That arrow, you can see? Small arrow? Yeah. That it.
Select.
First screen is selected.
Select what?
Red.
So can I show? So can I show?
Let's go. Close the next.
Flip.
Here. Right, pros and cons of censorship. It is good and it is also bad. Right? So anyway, somebody will just read out quickly. Yeah, from potential benefits.
Prevent social and unexpected using harmful content, protects national security, aid in the spread of false information.
Next, please.
Civil drawbacks. Violation of lives and suppressing reason. Violence to freedom of speech and expression rights. Open to abuse of political bias.
What's the way forward now? It's like, these are something requirement, These requirements are, government wants it, authorities want it to all this AI to be used. You don't want, what will this AI to be used, and you don't have to, net. So there is always a clash going on. So there has to be some balance, elements in it. Now if you have the rules and everything in proper place, then there is no problem. So way forward. So now India needs a legal protection. You know, whatever the moment you write something, one-liner you write on your DVD, on your computer, so next day you'll be in the court. So this type of what the harassment by the government should not be there. So you need protection. The freedom of expression is there. So you need some legal protection so that you are not unnecessarily disturbed or unnecessarily punished. And AI, not a regulation of AI is very essential, but it's very difficult also to regulate AI. But I'm sure you over the time, because when this come up new, artificial intelligence come up new. But over the time, I'm sure we all will be able to work. Human will be able to tide over this particular problem, and they will also start responding to your need. Now it is not, they don't know. Now you just give I think only one command, SAP board works or Python. So he doesn't have any brain to go through it. But he understands your board works on Python. But if you tell him this got the whole sentence means like this. Hey, it is already coming up, it is already there. So it means like it. So don't believe it. So they don't believe it. So but it will take time. Okay. Okay, now with that first one I have finished, and I am sure you know the meaning problem to understand what is phenomenon. Now next comes is that we are talking about Article 371. Next is 371. So यहाँ से नहीं होगा कि just okay, now 371. Okay, Article 371. Before that, I just want to ask you what is 370? Yes, you are right. Kashmir, yes. Yes, you are correct. And one or two sentences. You must have heard all this. I am sure you must have heard abbreviation of 370, 370, 370. People keep calling. And all these BJP people, Modi government, and all they are saying 370 people Kashmir se bataya. So now you must have heard. It is a very major event in Indian democracy, or you can say constitution. 370. So they told me to talk on 371, but I thought it must be 370 also. Now what is 370? So this is an article of Indian constitution, and by which the J&K, Jammu and Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, so they have been given special status. As you know, when the freedom was there, when India and Pakistan became separate countries, that is 47, 1947. So that time, these are like J&K didn't sign that instrument of accession. They were not part of India. But later in 1948, after 1 year or so they wrote that they signed that instrument of accession. Okay, because what? Because the Pakistanis they started invading J&K, so they wanted India safe. So India flew army to J&K, to this area, and they started defending the J&K. Anyway, so that history is different. But when finally this it came to India by via instrument of accession. There is an instrument of accession means accession take between India. So they J&K, since they came late and it was ruled by a king, so they had some special privilege. Now privilege basically saying what? They won't follow whatever Indian constitution is there. They won't follow their constitution. They have their own constitution. They have their own flag. They have their own ministers, and they have been Indian names also like prime minister and all. Whatever the Indians have, so they also have this thing. You can't go and buy land. Okay, and it was clearly mentioned. It is basically quasi. It is a what called provisionally, or it is a transitory phase. So someday this party, they expected, India expected, this 370 will go up. But then no government, no other government, will have the guts, or you can say, thought about, advocating this particular 370. But finally, 2 years back, this 370 was abrogated. Now, they have been made 2 union territories, that is Ladakh and JNK and Ladakh. So 2 union territories have been made. Okay, to be governed by the European channels, electoral governments. And so you can now, people can go and buy land there. Okay, and whatever constitution we have, so they have to follow our constitution. They can't say it is not our constitution. So that's what 370 all about. Now similarly 371. So now the difference between 370 and 371, where the JNK had their own constitution, but whereas 371 is not talking about own constitution, but talking about the Indian states, various Indian states, but they have some certain privilege, certain what privilege because of their culture, because of their traditions, okay, or maybe because of the religion, or maybe because of the area, or because of the land. So they have some certain privilege, not applicable to whole of India. Okay, so if there is what called Nagaland will have certain privilege, Mizoram will have certain privilege. Basically, Northeast states will have problem also. And but the first problem came through Maharashtra and Gujarat. Okay, they had very dry lands like Vidarbha, Marathwada, and all those areas. So those things were there, and their development they were not part of what the constitution was. Though their election was there, part of the legislature and elected government was there, but they are quite remote areas. So 371, the article 371 was made for the state of Maharashtra and Gujarat. 371. Okay, now slowly and slowly, what happening various time frame, it become 371A, 371B, C, D, E, F, J, and lastly the I. Okay, so over the times, all has become different. Now, what all things here the highlights are given. Like Article 371. So Article 371 of the Indian Constitution grants unique protection to certain states often related to land ownership and tribal rights. But 371, when you say 371, you should be very careful. 371 talks only about Maharashtra and Gujarat. Later on is A, B, C, D, all these. Okay, at different times. Like Sikkim, people know, Sikkim was never part of India. It became part of India in 1970. Right? Then some of the states also in India, they are all Assam, undivided Assam. But later on they become separate states. Right? Basically what? This aims to protect the culture and our culture of the government. Now here they specifically talk about which all states what. What you should remember is basically what pertains to which one. Okay, you don't go into details of what is there. But A is for home, B is for home, that you should generally know. Okay, generally you should know A, B, C, B, उसमें difference. So first is what? Now let's talk about Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, now Arunachal Pradesh, this comes 371A. A is for Arunachal Pradesh. Now governor has a special responsibility to adhere to law and order, and thus shall, after consulting the council of ministers, exercise his individual judgment as to the action to be taken. So these are very elaborate, in-depth, things are there. But it should not be A is for Arunachal. Now B is for Assam. Okay. So basically in B, what happened, in Assam also, they earmark certain areas which are tribal areas, and then elected government. I mean, there is some reservation for those tribal elected. So that's for B. Now Mizoram comes under 371G, Manipur 371C. Now C हो गया. Then is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana 371D, Karnataka 371, and when you say Article 371 is only for the Maharashtra and Gujarat, and Sikkim is 371F. Then also Goa is there. I don't know where it is. I think J is for Goa. It is not mentioned out here, but Goa is also there. G. So basically you should know that. And people might only ask you what is the difference between 370 and 371. So you should be able to know what the first 370 pertains to J&K only. Okay. 370 pertains to what is the Constitution of India, which is not able to know unless they concept their state government concept. Then they will have their own, what called flags. They will have their own land rights where nobody can buy. Whereas in 371, basically all the Union of India to have some federalism. Once the federalism is like ruling by both, so where you will have all these small privileges. Okay, okay, understood? Clear? Sleepy? Boring? You can get up anytime you feel like going to the bathroom or something. Eh? Burman is from which place? Assam to So ये you want PG है, लेकिन PG है. तो नलबड़ी में क्या हुआ? मोदी में You went to see Modi here? Nobody went? Huh? So even from maybe your own house, I was almost staying in PG. Okay, chalo. A little bit of soft talk, then let's go to anything you want to ask. You don't have to go into details of what all inside. Okay, once you go for IS preparation, then of course you must know what all things are there. But as of now, from NDA, I'm IMA and this one you don't really know, but you should know basically tribal rights or development authorities, development के लिए this policy. Now let's talk about NATO plus. This is third subject, right? What to नहीं हुआ? ये तो ऐसा कि जैसे कोई problem नहीं है. I am not governed by them. हाँ? Okay. NATO plus, this is important. This is important for your general knowledge and also for the examination point of view. NATO and NATO plus. Now NATO basically spends. You must be knowing about this Israel, Russia and Ukraine war. Okay. And the original this thing also goes back to NATO only. What happens was that this NATO, NATO, not Atlantic Treaty Organization, it was initially not Atlantic allies only. It formed in the year immediately after the war, Second World War. Second World War was in which year? It was finally done in 1949. This particular NATO, it was organized. It was formed in 1949, and initially only 12 countries were there, and basically European countries and USA and Canada. Okay, but later on, what happened? It became, they kept on adding, and finally we got 32 members. And why it was formed? It was formed because the World War was there, and in the World War, it came to a halt because after USA bombed Japan. Otherwise, we had two. This one is allied countries, and the other one Axis. We call them Axis. Bloc countries: Russia, Germany, Japan. They in one group, and rest all allied countries. Rest of the countries, European countries plus USA, Canada, and all those. They in the other group. So what happened? The Russia, Germany, and all they quite powerful those days. And all these countries after after the World War 1947 or 48. So what happened was that these countries they fought so much that all their economy has gone down, and they also wanted security. Now you cannot have your economy improving unless you have your security in place. Can India plan to become war number one unless you have your own security? Okay. Security होना चाहिए. Security is very important. Like in your house also, you can have peace in your house only when your boundary walls, your rooms, everything is secure. If you don't have any security, nothing will, nothing can happen. No prosperity can come. So all these countries, what happened? They say they formed together. So they said, because they were afraid of Russia, because they World War they lost, but they lost because of what? Because Japan was attacked. And Russia also lot of damage was done, and they knew someday Russia will come in. So they formed this particular organization so that they remain a group, and they say if anyone attacks us, one of us, then we will take it as a mass attack on all of us, and we will fight it. Okay. So what happened? That's how one करके ऐसा करके initially 12 and finally become 32 countries. Now what happened in Russia and Ukraine? Now, next to Russia is Ukraine. If you see the map, Ukraine is just neighbor. Okay, and Ukraine में कि आधा Russians है, आधा Ukrainians है. And the language also most of the parts seem similar. Like something like West Bengal and Assam. Not meant to be so similar, but sometimes language is similar. Culture is similar and things like that. Now, what happened was that for long this Ukraine didn't want to be part of this NATO. Whereas this NATO people, they wanted Ukraine to be part of them only because it was next to Russia. So if they become part of NATO countries, so that Russia will be held, or you can say it will be surrounded by all these countries. But what happened that Russia didn't want Ukraine to join NATO. That is one of the reasons, not all the reasons. It is one of the reasons. So Russia didn't want to be, Ukraine to join NATO. Whereas Ukraine wanted to join NATO. They wanted to be part of, part of Europe. Okay, they didn't want to be part of the Euro. They were part of the Europe. So they didn't want to become, anyway, so that's a long history of. So what happened was that these countries, NATO headquarters, now his headquarters, initially was known as North Atlantic Alliance. And it came up in 1949, and the headquarters in Brussels. Now, where is Brussels?
South America.
Brussels.
South America.
Capital of Belgium is what? Belgium capital is oh, which one? Okay, you find out where is Brussels, right? This is basically capital of Belgium only. So what happened was that the last one to join NATO. This is an important question. Is which one? Sweden. In 2024 they have joined. Right? Yeah. Sweden had joined 2024, last this year, and they had become the 32 members. True and false, 32 countries, 31 countries, that might ask you. And in 2023, Finland came. 2023, Finland became the Never. So total will be 32. Okay. So basically, you see, now it is basically Europe oriented. It is Atlantic oriented. Those countries are there. Now what is NATO plus? Now they got brighter idea because China that those days were not significant power. China nobody knew about it. It was not a major player in the military world those days. But slowly what happened? China has become very very strong. And China has not only become strong, it starts poking others also. It pokes India also so many times. Okay, so China slowly has grown up, very, very, very strong, not only on the land but also on the seas, but in the air, but in the space, everywhere become very, very strong. So there is again threat to all this. Earlier the threat was only from Russia. Okay, now the threat has become what called China oriented. And when you say China oriented, it is basically is mostly in the seas. Okay, because so many oceans are there, so many seas are there. So China, what one they got a major naval power, and then China, what one wants to control all those seas. And whereas this NATO, now they found a new threat. कि यहाँ पे तो it is okay, रशिया को हम कर लेंगे, but अभी पानी में अटलांटिक ओशन में क्या होगा, इंडियन ओशन में जाएंगे तो क्या होगा? If Indian Ocean, the Chinese come, or do you want to go to this one? Because what happens, like in American and European countries, their economy is basically what exploitation only. Okay, they go to some country and keep fighting their debt, somebody oil, some coal or something like that, whatever. So their point is that we need to protect ourselves. We need to have this one. So they said, we'll have 5 countries more, and we'll call it as NATO plus. Okay. So this is their idea, their brilliant idea, NATO plus, and then they'll have 5 more countries. 5 more countries में कौन आ गया? एक ऑस्ट्रेलिया आ गया, ऑस्ट्रेलिया के नीचे न्यूजीलैंड है, नीचे आ गया, और ऊपर क्या हो गया? जापान आ गया, देन इंडिया को पकड़ लिया, और एक अधिमान को कंट्री, इजराइल एंड साउथ कोरिया, करेक्ट, इजराइल एंड साउथ कोरिया. So Israel has been allies from USA from long time, so they So they wanted they become what called NATO plus हो जाएंगे, so then our sea routes and sea this one plus other activities will also be controlled. But India is very beneficial for India. If we become part of that, we are also safeguarded. We are also safeguarded from the trade from China, right? Because then when the armies come together, so they will share information, they share the equipment, and they give us information क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हो रहा है. So it is very very beneficial to India. Very beneficial to India. But India doesn't want to be part of this. Okay. But India doesn't want to be part of NATO plus. Why? Because India says if you go with all this, then our sovereignty means someday they will say they will send their ships and everything to India also. So our sovereignty will be affected. So India doesn't want to be part of NATO plus, and somehow because of that only, CUET means it is not being formalized. Okay, the proposal came from their side only, but now it is not formalized. So there is no NATO plus. Okay. Benefits क्या होगा? अगर होगा तो enhanced intelligence sharing with member countries, easier access to advanced military technology, and stronger defense partnership with the United States. Okay, and in your listing, there will be written military alliance of 31 North American and European countries. I mean, 31 now, this side 2, right? It came in 1949, immediately after World War II. Then also next slide this shows who all came when. So that is not very important, but in answer you should know. There's nothing much to it. Just homeworking when what they work like. As a quickly, I just touch on just 5 minutes. I'll take. I know you will all tired now. So much of exercise. So this is called reverse flipping. Reverse flipping. रिवर्स फ्लिपिंग अगर फ्लिपिंग का माने क्या है कि फ्लिप इट इज एनोयंस थोड़ा सा ना एनोयंस को बोलते हैं फ्लिपिंग अगर रिवर्स फ्लिपिंग और अदर वन इज ओवरसीज फ्लिपिंग ये इज फ्लिपिंग ओवरसीज टू डिफरेंट वर्ड फ्लिपिंग reverse flipping is the companies who are based Indian companies who are based outside, so they are basically trying to come to India. Or they have started setting up the base in India. That is what called reverse flipping. And flipping overseas is what? Indian companies because of problems out here or because of their own say business strategy or whatever. They want to go abroad. And from there they started what to operate. But what lately has happened is that there's been reverse flipping in which instead of what our own companies moving out, it is like the big companies, Indian origin companies, so who initially went ahead, went to our other places, they started coming back because of better environment of IP protection is there, the intellectual property rights, that protection is there. Then we got educated people. We have got also skilled people. Skilled people कितना नहीं है, but they can be skilled. But we have got a very young people, and our workforce is huge. Okay, we have in America you can for $100, you may not get anyone to work do the work. But यहाँ पे $100 में आपको पूरा यहाँ पे लाइन लग जाएगा काम करने में, है कि नहीं? So our economy, the labor generally is very cheap out here. Okay, now which are companies were there, which is doing the reverse flipping. Okay, anyone One is the Paperfry. Paperfry is basically the furniture company. Furniture company. So there's an Indian company which was in Singapore, and they established in 2021. But they started to come to India. Then second is Urban Leather, again another furniture company. So they were in Mauritius for till 2022. Now PhonePe is another Indian company. Then we have got Misho, Razorpay. Razorpay is Google Pay करते हैं Razorpay is there. Then ShareChat is another ShareChat. So these are companies which have been outside, but they started coming inside, coming to India. Now because of what will benefits are there? Potential for venture capital funding. The capital funding in India is much more. People can, if there is a venture, there is some, startup is there, the government also helping, and also the rich people are also putting their money there. Tax structure improve here, strong intellectual properties, young and educated workforce, and supportive government policies. And this particular, what the trend which is observed is basically the financial technology, where basically is online, money is involved. So online technologies is good. So these companies start coming. So this is reverse flipping. And पहले क्या था? It was flipping overseas. So used to go outside. Understood? And last topic I was going to cover was seed certification. Seed certification, is a very simple one. The slide is here. Basically, you grow, your crops and all. So India is a huge country. The crops varieties are all different in different places. And if they are not put under check, if there is no control on them, so that might, become bad crop. Number one. It become malnutritionist type हो सकता है. It become weeds might come in, and there will be so many problems will be there. Okay, it may not be in a nutrient value may not be there. So there is a Seed Certification Act which was done in 1966. Now according to that, various companies or various farms, those who want to produce seeds, they take their certification. Now once the seed certification is taken and the seeds are controlled, they are inspected, they are checked regularly by so that there is no what called, there is no bad crop that is coming up. Okay, so this seed certification is there. So this is very important in India, and I'm not very sure why this particular topic was included to you. I don't think any issue, but otherwise, so this particular certification they check for genetic purity, physical purity, and seed health, and it protects what? Protects crop quality, boosts yield, reduce risk, build trust. Okay. And what is the benefits of seed certification? Maintain crop varieties, improve seed. I'm sure it must be giving you all these slides and all. So you have to go through. Maintain crop varieties, improves yield and production, minimize pesticide use, protects biodiversity, supports fair trade, and distributes food security. So these are the points for seed certification. Okay. So I finished. Anything else you want to do? We just quickly recapitulate key what I'm going to do so that you want to read again in these subjects. First is what I covered was freedom on the net. Freedom on the net quickly. This is Washington में हुआ था. 13 report है 2010 में establish हुआ था. It covers 70 countries and what was 88% of the users. And India is ranked 50 only out of 100. And host is Iran and Myanmar. China has been doing bad. We are very happy to know that China is not doing bad. So that is what freedom of net. Then next was what? Article 371, 370 and 371 I spoke to you. So 371 is 371 pertains to Gujarat and Maharashtra. Where उसके बाद A, B, C, D हो गया. A तो रिमेंबर अरुणाचल हो गया. B हो गया असम. That will remember, right? C होगा क्या और थोड़ा क्या करना पड़ेगा? D, E, F. So just you write down this, right? And basically the difference between those two is that this Constitution of India के साथ ये भी living Constitution है, but some other legal rights or tribal. So there is then is NATO and NATO plus, right? Next one. NATO में क्या हुआ था? NATO में it was formed in 1949. Basically, European and American countries they got together to protect themselves from Russia. Okay, and initially 12 members were there. They headquartered in Brussels, that is in Belgium, and then now it is 32 members. Last member was Sweden. No? And we also remember कि Ukraine और Israel का जो Ukraine और Russia का जो fight हुआ था because of this NATO membership. These are called military treaties, alliance, military alliance. Next was what? Reverse flipping. Next reverse flipping. Reverse flipping is what all Indian companies moving inside India because of better prospects, young and educated people, good IP protection right, venture capital funding. Okay, these are 3-4 reasons. Last is seed certification. It is a act was 1966 and basically to protect the seeds. Okay, it's such a vast country and it protects the physical security gives or 3-4 eggs were there. Yeah. Protect genetic purity, physical security, and then seed. Okay. What we have now, after now this time, after this class. So what time we started? 11. So 11 to 2. 2 classes. Chalo, I am available on an hour. Anything you got, any questions or anything, you can ask. Okay. बाकी what is the routine like? आप लोग पढ़ते हो कितना घंटे पढ़ते हो? How many hours you spend on studies? 7 hours, 8 hours? 5. 5 is good. What about you? 4. What आप लोग? 6. Work hard, study hard. We never had so much of hard time in life. We just studied normal, 3 to 4 hours and somehow we cleared everything. So your life is become quite tough. Okay. And believe me, anyone, nobody can become great unless you work hard. Okay. And there's a 1,000 hours type rule. 1,000 hours rule. Like if you want to become, scientist, you want to become, tabla player, you want to become, computer engineer, whatever. The 1,000 hours is, minimum requirement of hard work. So you got 1 year we cannot do this. एग्जाम will be in मान लो सितंबर अक्टूबर का होगा सितंबर होगा गुड टाइम थैंक यू सी यू इससे कुछ नहीं कराया क्या? इससे कुछ नहीं कराया? इससे कराया? सर परफॉर्म है आपका चालू के पास है क्या बात
सर मेरे को आवाज नहीं आ रही थी
Thank you.